Hey y'all, so glad to be back with my people. Let's get down to business. Alright, this is important. I just got through testing the passing settings for both gens. Okay, and I actually found a little bit of a difference between the two gens, which surprised me, but you know, that's why you gotta actually do the testing. You never know what you're gonna find. And welcome to why I do what I do, but as we know, these apply to everybody throughout the game, no matter who you are, no matter what mode you play. Having these right just makes the game flow better. It plays more naturally, more intuitively. That's a good word for that. Into the controller settings we go, down to the pass target profile. Here we are. All right, so basically the settings that give us the least amount of, oh my God, I wasn't even trying to pass to him. Why'd you throw it there? I'm just gonna strike that turnover from my own personal record books. Does anybody else keep their own stats, by the way, and get super detail with them? No? Just me? All right. Anyway, moving on. So I've tested these every single year since they put them in the game. I feel like I already have a certain level of corporate knowledge or whatever on these. So let's start with what do we already know that I've already confirmed again this year? The openness slider down here, right? The game trying to determine who's the most open and have you pass it there. It's never been good and still not good. I was kind of intrigued that maybe it might become slightly useful on next gen in a way, that it might be just super advanced, but no, it's still just not helpful really at all. So no surprise, just like always, we want to put it all the way down. Okay, and we don't want the game trying to tell us where we should pass the ball. Anyway, we want to tell the game where to pass it and have it work reliably. Okay, not the other way around. So that's what we can do. We can do that by getting the right mixture here of the other two, direction and distance. Okay, let's get into that. So a lot of times it's easy, right? You just aim your L stick at your target and that's the guy it'll pass to. That's simple. The game can process that just fine. So that's not the issue. The issue is where we get into trouble is when we got multiple teammates who are kind of in the same general direction, right? And the game is trying to decipher different things, and that's when it can get confused. Okay, and that's when we really need good settings. For that situation, it comes up quite a bit. So two things. Number one, we should be able to make those short, simple passes, right? Without even really having to think about it or worry about it, just comes naturally. So in order to do that, in order to function right, the game has to have a sort of natural bias, if you will, to the closer guy. And that's something I've learned over the past few years of testing these also. So no surprise, that still should be the case. Now, number two, this is the harder part. So we should be able to override that bias by being precise with our L stick. Okay, and that part's on us. That's user skill right there. So the more accurate we are, the more reliably we're going to be able to bypass the closer guy and get it to the farther guy, or whatever you want to call it. So the more we put direction up, the more it's going to quote unquote listen to the exact direction that we press on that L stick. Okay, and on the other hand, as we increase the distance slider, we're now increasing how much it's going to quote unquote pay attention to and quote unquote favor the closer guy. That makes sense. So I know some of us know this already, but others want me to explain it. So there you go. And now bottom line, what's the right concoction? Here it is. Here we go. So it's going to be 64, 35, 1. Now that's for current gen. And 64, 35, 1 for current gen. I made sure to do the exact same testing, the exact same amounts, literally in every single way, so I could match up the results side by side. I did on both gens. So, like I said, there's a little bit of a difference. So what I found is with next gen, it just has a little more of a tendency to kind of grabs our passes and sort of redirects them a little bit, right, to make them go to the closer guy, even though that's not exactly precisely where you press. It's just kind of sort of the general direction that you pressed, right? So it just becomes a little harder to bypass those short targets and make those longer passes successfully. Okay, so of course we have to compensate for that, right? We need a little more direction and a little less distance on next gen. Makes sense. So, and again, it's not huge at all. It's just a little bit, but I'm trying to make it the best it can be. So it's really just 3 more notches towards direction on next gen. So next gen's going to be 67 for direction, 32 for distance, and then still 1 for openness. All right, so plug them in, comment if you got any questions or comments. I'm headed straight back down to the lab, man. I got to get these gameplay slider sets updated. All right, so I'm going straight back to work on these. Don't worry, we're close. So it won't be long. Keep an eye out, subscribe, turn your notifications on. Of course, that's the best way to stay in the loop. And pop that like button before you go. It helps the channel and helps us make a better game in the future. All right, I'm gonna go get to work on that. I appreciate all your support, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you right back here next time on 2K with the Popboy.